Hello, everyone. Hello. Good evening. We're here on the RTV radio show again each and every Monday at 7 p.m. We're going to have a good topic that we're going to discuss. We're going to be talking about all things COVID. I would like to hear, your insight about your thoughts and your insight about COVID, vaccines, anything to that nature. Before we get in, we do have some a guest that will be coming on to talk about that as well. But before we get on there, I just wanted to say again, always we want to thank you all. For always tuning in. Please make sure that you tune in. Please make sure that you share this with your audience so we can get as many as we can. A few updates I would like to give prior is that we're going to be looking at some initiatives that we're going to be doing to talk about, CTE. We're going to be talking about, in other terms, it would be trades. I'm looking forward to connecting with those that are in the community that attended a vocational school or trade school, and just to get your insight. There's been a lot of things that are going on in that area, but also one of the things that really just kind of inspired me was we had a young man from Mervo who graduated, I want to say in 2017, but I could be wrong. But he started out over at our house. I should have sent it over to Diamond K, but I will try to do that to put that article up. I shared it on my page, but it was very, very inspiring that he started as a pop-up shop over at our house, and now he is a full-fledged business owner over at the our house. He has a restaurant there that's permanent, and guess what? He's only hiring Mervo students and or city students. That was so inspiring. It just tapped into my mind to say we need to spotlight more of trades and vocationals and skills. And so you stay tuned for that. I won't say much more on that, but stay tuned for that. Another topic that I wanted to discuss was, or at least put out there, we're going to have some discussion around human crematorium. So I want you all to know that RTV, we're here to talk about those topics that are going on in our communities, issues, concerns. Shout out to Vaughn Greene Funeral Home. They've reached out to me, Mr. Vaughn Greene himself, to say that he's willing to do this community forum. He's going to be doing it on the base of me being president of an organization, but we're definitely going to be making sure that we utilize our audience, because the more people that know and be a part of it, the more the merry, right? We want to make sure we have all of these. Mm-hmm.
Hey, so
I didn't even know you were back.
No, so listen, is he going to be ready for some of the tough questions that we're going to ask him?
So we are. So let me just tell you, it's coming from another umbrella and not RTV, and it's going to be a forum, a community forum, and I'm just looking forward to RTV, RadioOnFire, or whatever else media to help disseminate this information. This is a presentation. To be honest, they've been putting this presentation out, or at least had it available for at least a year. So they're not going to, most of the questions, they can probably answer it in advance. And so we just want to make sure that at least the people know that this presentation is there and where are they, going forward. I will say, I brought that up to say that there is a hearing tomorrow, so you can actually tune into a zoning hearing that's going to be going on, and you can hear some updates. But that are the two things I wanted to talk about, vocational schools, human crematorium. And then listen, we got a special guest here. I'm gonna let Brother Nance, pull it over to him, but we're going to be talking about all things COVID. So come on, Brother.
All things COVID, all things community schools, all things, just community. I'm excited to have this brother on RTV radio because not only was he the former executive director at the YMCA Druid Hill, but he's also the current executive director at the historic New Song Academy and the Community Learning Center in the heart of Sandtown. Jayson Greene is just one really dynamic guy. So I'm happy that he's here just to share what we're currently doing at New Song and what our vision is moving forward, but also to talk about why it's important to support our COVID drive and our partnerships that we're doing in the community. So, Jayson, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you, Jayson. Oh, you're muted.
Appreciate the time to be on the show.
Yes, thank you.
I see you have a change of scenery. Earlier, you was at on the beach. We were just on the Beach City meeting, and you was in the office. And now I see you at home. So, and I know you don't live close to the school. So, I give thanks that you're comfortable to have this conversation. I give thanks.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So, I wanted to start by first, telling us a little bit about your background, and then we can go into what we're currently doing at New Song.
Sure. So my name is Jayson Greene. I'm the executive director of New Song Community Learning Center in Sandtown, Winchester. Like Juan said, before that, I was the executive director of the Y in Druid Hill. I've adopted West Baltimore as my second home. If you ask my wife, she'll tell you I spend a lot more time there just because I'm trying to serve the community. The community is really, I've found a home. It reminds me of when I grew up in New York back in the 80s. So it reminds me of home. So I know what can happen and what changes, can occur to make the community even stronger and better. And that's what we're really about. My whole mission and vision for New Song and the Sandtown Winchester community is just to provide resources to everyone there in every shape or form. So if that's through food, vaccinations, education, wellness, workforce, whatever it's going to be, we want to be able to bring that to the community. And there's some things that we're going to be doing moving forward that will help with that as well.
So why is my bad, Angie? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just awesome.
So I was going to say, why, I believe that West Baltimore has a lot of potential. I believe that West Baltimore has been neglected on purpose. And so, I've been only working with you for a few months, but I worked with you prior to that. Let's talk a little bit about how, the vision, what are some of the action items that we have at New Song or you envision for West Baltimore, and how we can play a role in making those visions come to life? Because, a lot of times people do a lot of talking, but us as an organization, we want to be about action. So what are some of the action items that people can look forward to when they're expecting something from us at CLC?
Sure, I appreciate that. So one of the things that we are looking to do, the old Gilmore Elementary is, empty, been vacant for the last 2.5 years. We'll be moving our charter school. So we're the charter operator for Baltimore City Public Schools for New Song Academy. We're going to be moving our New Song Academy into that building, renovating the building, bringing it up to a 21st century status for the community, put our academy in there, and be able to provide, great educational resources and advancement for the kids that attend New Song, and expand our reach for the greater 2 and 2 and 7 area to give more educational opportunities for people in Sandtown and beyond, so they can get, access to quality education. At the same time, in our current space that we own, which is at 1530 Pressman, literally right up the block, we're going to turn it into a community hub. So the community hub will focus in on wellness, looking at it from a physical standpoint as well as a mental health standpoint, workforce development. And then lastly, of course, adult education, because our specialty is in education. So the goal is to create a holistic approach to addressing the needs of the community. This is what the community wants. They want a place to come. Like you said, resources are not in West Baltimore, especially in Sandtown, Winchester. So we want to bring partners in that will provide these resources. At the same time, we have Sandtown Winchester Achievement Academy literally up the block. So it's pretty much equidistant from where our current space is to where the old Gilmore Elementary and then where Sandtown Winchester building is. So together, we'll be able to provide their families resources and support their families as well, because their families are our families. Their cousins, their brothers, their sisters. It's the same community. It was so crazy. The other day we were visiting, we did a walkthrough at the one we called the 107 building. We're going to refrain from calling it the Gilmore building because Gilmore was a racist sheriff back in Baltimore City. So we're going to take away
we can
that.
talk about that. I didn't know that.
So yeah, so
yes,
we're going
a
to
lot of streets. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so we're
Thank you, Jayson.
going to call it the 107 building because that's what the school number was back in the days when it was a school building. So when we take over the 107 building, we were standing there. We were talking with our contractor and the architect as well as the school people, and a young lady, probably looked like she was about 12, came across the street and said, "Excuse me, what are you doing with this building?" And we said, "Well, we're going to move the New Song Academy into that building." And she said, "Oh, I just wanted to know." And we said, "Oh, what school do you go to?" She said, "I go this way." We were like, "Okay, great." And we said, "Why did you ask?" And she said, "I just wanted to know because nothing is happening in this space and we want to do something." So, I was like, great. So even the young community is coming out. Tomorrow morning, my staff and I, we're literally going down the block like we've done before, and we're going to do a cleanup in the area because it's an abandoned space and we haven't taken ownership of it yet. We're waiting for the lease from the city to be finalized. But in the meantime, there's still debris all over the place. So we're literally going to get out there and clean up the debris starting at about 9:30 in the morning and be done between 11, 11:30, 12 o'clock at the latest. And just get it all up, put it in bags, and let DPW come and take it away just so that it looks a little better, and clean up the community. So the goal is to create spaces like that and then create a whole network. We have the rec center that shares the space with us. They'll be our tenants. We want to support them and add, support them with extra programming. You have Front Leroy Park that's right across the street. Maybe we can do something with the Ravens to get them to take over, to support the park and build it up, into a real life field because we're right in their backyard. So the goal is to, again, create a campus in Sandtown, Winchester, where we are supporting the needs of the community through partnerships, but we want to do it as a collaborative. So we want other organizations to be a part of this with us. We don't want to do it just by ourselves. We're not the end all the be all. And we know there's quite a lot of organizations, especially nonprofits that are out there that don't have space, but have the resources to provide the services, but they want to be in a place. I was like, well, Sandtown Winchester is a great place to provide resources to because we need it. You walk around Sandtown Winchester, forget the fact that we don't have, a place to go to lunch. Forget the fact we don't have a place to get healthy. Forget the fact that there's just a lot that's missing. We're even working with PNC Bank. They're going to be bringing a mobile branch to our block. So a mobile branch is literally a full service branch in a bus. You can speak with a banker. You can open up an account. You can use the ATM and everything right there. And we're going to be one of their sites. So they're going to come and they're literally doing a walkthrough this week just to survey the area. They piloted this in Chicago, in some rough areas in Chicago, and they said it worked out very well. So they want to do it here as well. And they, them, M&T Bank, they both have programs where you can, even if you've had some problems getting a bank account in the past, you can get a debit card and still get your benefits, get your check, get everything. So you at least build up that whole banking background, as part of your financial help. And then they have financial literacy classes, which we're partnering them with on that because one of our teachers who teaches 3rd and 5th grade, Mr. Yara, is teaching a Black economics class. And we're going to take that Black economics class and expand it to the community as well. So not just that the students in New Song get it, but that students in Sway get it, then the parents, the families, the community members, because the more knowledge and power that we're able to share with them, the better off they're going to be. The stuff that they don't teach you in school, about credit, about why, what is wealth. It was so empowering to be on this Zoom call with these kids when he's asking them, what's wealth? And the 3rd grade is able to answer what wealth was. Yeah. We go to the street and ask people, what's wealth? What they're going to tell you, oh, that hot car. I got, new sneakers every day. Now, that's not wealth. Mm-hmm. You make somebody else wealthy, but that's not personal wealth, So being able to offer, programs like that, and to be able to expand them out, because I truly believe exposure is the key. I grew up in a neighborhood similar to Sandtown, Winchester, and I had somebody ask me one time, they said, well, why aren't you, on the street? why did you go a different route? And I said, exposure. I had two lives. One of my lives was a neighborhood similar to Sandtown, Winchester. My other life were the suburbs. So I was able to be exposed to both sides of that coin and see, wow, there's something other than this. And,
now,
and just
Jayson,
having that changed the difference.
now, Jayson, you made a great point right there. I'm going to pause you for a moment. Because you listen, I think all day, that's why I'm tired. All day I've just been getting like some just energy. So I'm feeding your energy. I appreciate all that you all are doing over there in the Sandtown, Winchester area. I love the community hub. And someone, someone, if you could just mute it for a moment, because some background. Thank you. So I love the fact that there's that you are initiating a community hub and even a PNC. And what you just said was exposure. And I just wanted to pause you right there. So the exposure part, I speak about this often. I grew up in the Park Heights community. And for me, even though it wasn't out of state and I just attended school across town, it was still different to know that it's something more than outside of Park Heights. And so sometimes it's just a matter of, just like you just said, I'm going to use that word all day, that exposing these youth to something that that they may not get. So PNC having that mobile branch, I mean, maybe they can't get there, but to actually bring it to the community. So I just need to pause you for that, because that is something very good. And I think it's going to go a long way. And to know that you're not doing it alone, you're trying to pull together with all these community partners, that is going to be phenomenal. And that's what's going to make it be, sustainable. And so I just needed to say that to you. But exposure is like number one key to make sure, like we're getting ready to send some youth to out of state just to attend a play. And yeah, they can do a play here, but we want them to know there's other things outside of Baltimore. And sometimes, like I said, it's just a matter of even the neighborhood. For me, Northwest, just to go to East Baltimore, that was like it for me. And then it opened so many doors to know it's more than just what I saw over in my hometown. So thank you for that. And now you're muted. I'm sorry.
Appreciate you. No, I love that. And I get excited when I'm able to talk about this and share. It's there's a cycle that goes on, and we want to be able to break that cycle for the young people and for the adults that are there as well. So again, being that place of resource. When we work with Brother Nance and he comes to me and he says, "I want to do food distributions," and I'm like, "Okay, let's get it." He said, "Oh, I have another partner that they were doing baby goods for moms. Let's get it." Like whatever we can do to bring resources. I want people to think of New Song and think of this is a place where they can come and get resources, get help in any way, shape, or form. This Wednesday we're partnering with Sway and Elevate to do COVID vaccine. It's the Pfizer vaccine. It's free. So. There, we're going to be there. We're going to be helping out. I've connected with Healing City, Baltimore. They're giving us popsicles. We're going to be able to give out popsicles on that hot day to people coming to get their vaccines are out there. So it's really about being able to give to the community and share and talk with them and say, like, here's what we are. Yes.
Opportunities and options. That's what you're giving them. No matter how anyone feels about, about the vaccine or anything, at least they have an option to say yes or no. And it's going to be right there in their neighborhood. So I'm all for like supporting any initiatives. If you have a flyer, we'll make sure we'll put it on our website. And continue to just put that out there, because as you just stated, or Brother Nance stated, some of this has kind of been on purpose of why these resources have not been coming to the West Side, and it's unfortunate, and so that's what we want to make sure, that at least they have option and opportunity to get, rather it's vaccine, rather it's, a bank account. Because as you stated, there's so many people that don't even have a bank account. And these are adults. We're not even talking about children at this moment. But if we expose our youth, that's going to be amazing. Like I opened my daughter, I have a 6-year-old, I opened an account for her. when she was 5. I opened up an account for her. But what I'm saying is, like, start them young, early, and the literacy, the educational part. Not just saying, like you just said, you can get someone to say, look, I got the sneakers, I got my hair done, certain brand. It's not even about brand, it's not even about what you're wearing, what you're driving. It's here, one, but also making sure they know what to do with their money, how to recycle it. As you know, on the show is restoring the village, but as you stated, how to make us be a community, and that community hub is going to be major. So.
And just to piggyback off, and not accepting anything that comes into the community. That's one thing that I pride myself on as a community school coordinator, is that, like, every partnership is not a good partnership. You know what I mean? And
yes.
I'm not
Double,
willing
triple,
to get
yes.
no, because you know what? Because a lot of times, people believe they're doing a good thing sometimes, and then it's really not a good thing. Where though we may not need one aspect of your partnership, but we may need another aspect, and we have to be this for other organizations out here. We have to be very mindful when you're engaging with people in community, that you will provide them with the same things that you will consume, whether it's food, resources, or whatever, but things that you will want to have access to as well. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I would say that, not only myself, but Jayson and our principal and the whole New Song team, that we pride ourselves on standing by integrity. You know what I mean? And making sure that, we're not just giving people things just because, it's a savior mentality. It's more on trying to build you up to be self-sufficient, where though your voice and your collective energy can be the power that's actually needed in your community.
Yes.
So I just wanted to add that on what he was saying, far as like, with partnerships and what we're doing. And but I just want to let the people know that, like, we are very tactful and tasteful on the partnerships and opportunities that we bring to our community. I may not be for the vaccine, but as a community schools coordinator, I have to at least bring the opportunity to those that want to, because right now this current version of COVID is affecting kids. You know what I mean? And we have, Brandon, the state and the city just mandated masks. And, I just heard something today that all agencies or people that are working with kids that work in the schools, they got to be either mandatory vaccinated, or they're going to have to submit every 14 days of COVID testing. So as a school leader, Jayson, how do you feel about that, as far as like COVID testing, far as has it impact our youth, and far as how we're supporting and why we are supporting this COVID vaccine clinic?
Yeah. So for me, it's about really protecting everyone. The decision to get vaccinated was about our grandkids. It's important that they're protected. It's important that my family is protected. We all have gone through that. We lost my mother-in-law to COVID, so it hit home. So we know that this is something that whatever we can do to make a difference, to help, to support, to educate, is the key. That's the other piece. There's so much
that's the most
false information that is out there. I want to make sure that people have the correct information. If you make a decision not to, as long as you make a decision by having the correct information, that's fine. But have the correct information, not the false stuff that you read on social media, that you heard from somebody in the street. It's important. The kids are the most vulnerable at this point. And, the problem is, scientifically, when you look at the variant, the reason that there's a Delta variant now is because with more transmission of the virus, you allow the virus to mutate. So right now we have the Delta variant. The more it mutates, there could be a whole nother strain that is even more powerful than that one. So we don't want to get to that point. We want to, and again, giving people this information. It could be because once the FDA approves the Pfizer vaccine, because they're the closest ones, then maybe more people will get that. And that's okay. But again, just have the correct information, understanding, ask questions. And ask questions not of, the folks on the street. Ask questions when there's a clinic. Go to the clinic and ask questions. Hey, what are the side effects? What happens here? What happens here? Everybody's side effects are going to be different. Me and my wife did the exact same shot on the exact same day. We had different side effects. Mm-hmm. It was just different for each of us because our body chemistry is different. It's kind of like what happens when you eat food. If you have an allergic reaction and somebody doesn't mean the food is bad. It just means that your body didn't accept it, or whatever reason, or in that way. Or when we get a cold, how do colds look for us indifferently? So I think it's definitely, getting the right information, make sure that you have everything and not from social media, not from the friend, find out from science, what really is going on. Ask questions and ask those questions that you may have read. If you read something, bring that statement with you to the clinic and say, hey, I read that if you get the vaccine, this is going to happen. Okay, well then let them explain to you what truly happens when you get that.
Yeah. So, again, I just want to, not to say put a disclaimer. I do want to say not to put any endorsements or any, one way or another, but to actually make sure that we do have an option for the community. I understand both ways. I had COVID spring, and I was fine. So, but I'm just saying, I had COVID. I know people that I've lost through COVID, and or that were fully vaccinated and had worse symptoms. So, as you just stated, everyone is different. This is all new still. Even this vaccination is new. And so what I can say is that we want to make sure that people have options. And if that's something that they truly want to do, that we should have access to it. I know my grandfather, he was more so like he wanted it and very adamant about it and his choice. And so I made sure that he had access to getting the vaccine. And so that's my only thing, to make sure our most vulnerable and those that are interested in it have these resources. So we are here. I always do it in the middle of the show. I think it's almost the middle, but we are here with our special guest, Jayson Greene. If anyone's just coming on, we are talking all things COVID. No matter how you do things, we want to at least say that Brother Jayson is doing, or partner, should I say, to do a COVID clinic this Wednesday. I'll have him talk about it again. But we are here talking about all things COVID, and also just making sure that we are acknowledging some of his community work as well, because that's what we're here to always make sure we're spotlighting those in the community. So thank you. And I know you have had a busy day, and you are here on this evening with us, sharing still the goodness of the community hub. So I'm really excited. I know that one of the comments, I just wanted to say this really quickly. We want to shout out the Small brothers. Taylor Small, I think is a branch manager at PNC. So we wanted to shout him out. Someone actually put that on there, that he actually was part of this process too, of getting it. And I know those Small brothers. I went to middle school with them, and just to say thank you for always putting back into our community. Sharif does a lot, Tabor does a lot, and again, we just wanted to put that out since you had mentioned the PNC. Financial literacy, that's something, again, we want to talk about. And again, I'm very excited to hear and know that this community hub is going to be all things that the community is in need of. So anyone is just tuning in, that's what we're talking about today. I am trying to read some comments and making sure that we intervene and interact with one another. But thank you all again for tuning in. What's funny is that the funny part is that Diamond K, that's our producer. He's the best producer in the land, right, Brother Nance?
Absolutely.
Earlier, right before the show, actually, and I don't even think he knew what we were going to talk about, but he mentioned, I'm just going to read off of it. Paul Chucky Thompson. I heard of it, but I don't really know. But they said he died today due to complications from COVID. So it's actually very good to have this conversation, and we need to have it. Like you just said, no matter what, we can Google things, we can hear from things, we can talk about this and talk to this group, but we need meaningful conversations. And to honestly, let me just say this really quick and I'll be quiet. And I told Brother Nance that I was tired today, but you can't tell, can you? But no, listen, I just wanted to say, no matter how you feel, what I don't like to see is that us fighting each other. If you
Yeah, I'm about to
vaccinated,
say, don't bash me. Don't bash me because I don't want to take the vaccine.
I'm looking at you different. Like, I don't
like
so
I support and I appreciate all of y'all that got the vaccine. Thank y'all. You know what I mean? Like, that means I don't have to get it. But don't beat me up. Like, I didn't mean to cut you off, Angie. No, but like, I think
I'm just saying that I just don't want to see a division. I want to have the opportunity where RTV can have these meaningful conversations. Even if we had another conversation, like I said, Jayson, you've hit so many areas, but having this conversation, like, I think it's the first time we really was talking about it too. But to have conversations to talk about COVID and to be comfortable to know I don't have, this person don't have a disease, that person, like, we're all in this together. And in order for someone to agree on one way or another, we have to have meaningful conversation and not be rude and mean. And I've seen that so much over the last few months. Is very disheartening because we'll never get nowhere if we're nasty and rude to one another. And is good.
And division is by design. You know what I mean? Like, division is by design. I mean, so being that we know division is by design, we cannot fall victim to the trap of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't disrespect anybody that got the vaccine, but I noticed that anyone that has the vaccine, they're very pushy on you getting the vaccine. You know what I mean? But those of us that don't get it, like, we're not pushy on those that get it, that have gotten it. We don't be like, well, why did you get it? You're an idiot. Like, we be like, okay, respect. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what it should be. Like, it should be, because at some point they may try to mandate it that everyone has to have the vaccine, and then it's a whole different ball game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really about respecting people's space and their views.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I think about early on when people were just getting vaccinated, and I remember meeting with a couple of older gentlemen, and they both said, "Hey, I need to ask a question. We're all vaccinated. Is it okay? We're 6 feet apart. Is it okay to take off our masks? Because this is bothering me to breathe and stuff. And it was like, he said it, and now it becomes my thing where I want to ask, what's your comfort level? Because if you told me no, then I'm going to keep my mask on. If you said yes, then and I think that's the way to start it. Is like, what's your comfort level? So for me, it was important, but that's me. All I want to do is give you information, and share with you information. If you want to take that information and maybe it'll make you think a different way, maybe it won't, I don't know. But at the end of the day, have the right information, across the board. False information, no matter what it's about, vaccination, voting, shopping, financial literacy, whatever it is. Yes. If it's false information, it's not good. I'm big on that. On social media, when people post things that are just not true, I might say, hey, you know what? You may want to do a little more research because that's not 100% true. And it has nothing to do with a political view. It could be you put up there that peanuts are green. No, they're really not green. I've never seen a green peanut. Now, I could be wrong, but I haven't seen a green peanut. But it's like, so that's the key. Like, Juan about to tell me about a green peanut. Watch.
I'm about to say they actually start off. I'm about to say they actually start off.
I know. I'm just saying, Other guys, I'm saying what I'm eating, But I'm just saying, it's just that we want to make sure that we, give people the correct information, and I think that's what we're trying to do with. Again, it's resource. It's not about you have to get this, but here's what happens when more people get it. Here's what happens when less people get it. Here's what happens. Like, if we look at the data and it shows the states that have the lowest vaccination rates, are the states currently with the highest COVID-related deaths and hospitalizations. So it's about getting the right information. What information do you need? And that may be something that you like. That may be something that says, oh, it doesn't resonate with me because I don't live in one of those states, or it doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine. But it's get the information that is there, and understand what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
But some people pushback would be like, well, I'm also hearing information that even if you get the vaccine, you still can get COVID again. You know what I mean? So it's like people.
Well, yeah, it's not an end of. Remember, there's never 100% though. Like that's the whole thing. It's
right.
Like when we get anything. I mean, I could be a person who goes to the gym 7 days a week. I can eat healthy food. Right? I could be going to the legendary cafe every day. Right?
Good plug. Good plug. Good plug.
Can I still have a heart attack?
Good plug. That's a good plug.
You like that?
Good plug. Good plug. Good plug.
Can I still get a heart attack though? Yeah. Like it's preventative. I'm less likely to die of a heart attack doing all those things. But
let me ask you this, my brother. Let me ask you this, my good brother. So, but do you think that how it's been? Like, I was at the they had like a back to school rally that they were doing at Carroll Park, right? So I was there on, I think it was last week. I don't remember the date. It was like maybe Thursday, right? And so it was a lady in the audience. They had the dude that wrote Letters to a Young Brother. I forgot his name, but he wrote a book called Letters to a Young Brother. And they had him out there, right? And so he was talking about like the vaccine and this, that, third. And they were saying like, your kids 12 and over, you need to get the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. So this parent that was in the crowd, she was like, well, my question is, why are they offering us like free food? And why my life is not worth free food? My life is not worth like, so people got a misconception like the actual vaccine will kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she went in for like 20 minutes to the point where they was like, you know what? We're going to invite you to a panel discussion, because she had a lot of valid points that I've heard other people say. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you like, if it's so foolproof or whatever the case may be, why do you have to offer all of these frivolous incentives, really insulting incentives? Like she was like, you're offering people free weed and this and that to take the vaccine through, like, no, for real. That's what she said at the event. Mind you, this is a youth kid event. So it was getting so out of control. I'm sharing the story to say that, like, we have a lot that we're dealing with when we're trying to roll out a vaccine. Rolling out a vaccine is like rolling out a survey, right? Would you agree? People have been surveyed.
I mean, think about the census. We deal with that with the census. I mean, you go around the census, people say, I'm not filling that out. They're gonna kick me out of my housing if I fill that out, or they're gonna take away my check if I fill it out. I mean, there's all kind of, again, information, and everybody has a cousin that they knew this happened to, or they saw it. It's things happen, and different things happen to different people. It's about looking at the overall, what are the numbers telling us? What is the data telling us? And then, again, sharing the information, not pushing. Our clinic that we're holding on Wednesday is about providing an opportunity for the community. Hey, we're bringing it to you. You don't even have to go anywhere. If you feel like you want to get it now, here's the time. Like, no judgment. If you walk by and say, no, I'm not doing that, okay. Well, at least you want to talk with somebody so that you can at least hear some more information about it, and you can ask them, about the questions that you may have. Hey, am I going to get a third leg because of this? Is my ear going to blow up to the sides? Like whatever, like, what's going to happen, if I get this vaccine? Like, ask those questions, because you'd be surprised. I've heard some crazy, things that happen, and it's like,
yeah. I was gonna say I've heard. I won't say crazy. I've heard a lot of different views and beliefs. I would never say anything's crazy, but I will say this. It kind of is like, for me, I'm trying to stay neutral here, but for me, I understand why some may, it's kind of like history repeating itself. In a sense, it could be, and possibly we don't know. And so we have to understand that a lot of people feel this way because of certain things, the ski, it's like all of
Yeah, I'm
these
about to say,
things.
because I'm a low key conspiracy theorist.
I'm not even going to go even that far. Like, we've had some most recent things that have occurred that has been very detrimental or has targeted the Black community. And when you see like that population really not getting it, it has to be education, because it can't be like, oh, they're just crazy. How can you not want it when people are dying? Well, when you look at the statistics, a lot of people are recovering more than anything. If we look at the wider spread, the wider statistics behind it. Like I said, I've known people that have had COVID that are vaccinated that were worse than what I had. I'm just like, and in the hospital. So when we say if you're fully vaccinated, you won't be hospitalized, you won't die. Well, that's not true, because I know people who have died and had complications on both spectrums. So,
but even that information, though, isn't that? But even that statement, I would say, is part of the, I agree with you. That's part of the narrative that is a bit false. Because at the end of the day, no vaccine has 100% efficacy. None.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
There's nothing else. So the thing is, like, it could happen, and I think we need. Again, I think that's part of the information that we need to share with people. Like, yes, you can still get COVID.
Unfortunately, that does not. What I've heard is that this is just it. Like Brother Nance said, and again, I'm trying to be this neutral person, but like Brother Nance said, you have people who are like, if you don't get it, this is how you feel. That's how they get it. It's no open conversation, and that's the part I say is wrong. If you want to stop talking to certain people and cut them off, and like,
I mean, you gotta also think about population control. You also gotta think about, hold on. I didn't mean to cut you off, but we also got to think about population control. And we also got to think about, how can 3 waves of a disease be targeted? Like, how can a disease be like, this part of the disease is targeted to old people. This part of the disease is targeted to that. This part of the disease, it makes you think. I mean, let's be real here. We are restoring the village radio, right? Let's really think here. You know what I'm saying? And then you're saying, hey, we need 12 and older. And again, I work in this work, so I have to support it, no matter what my personal views are. You know what I'm saying? But I also want to make sure that we are educating people to make sure they're making a sound decision. It's sort of like voting. It's sort of like voting. People vote. Like, I was told to vote for certain people just because they was Black, even though they wasn't doing nothing for us when I was younger. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I just want to make sure as a community, like Jayson said, we are educating people so they can make a solid decision on whether to get or not, whether it's because I believe Jayson is vaccinated, my principal's vaccinated, you may be vaccinated. Me personally, I'm not getting vaccinated. And I'm trying to go to Africa and they telling me I need to be vaccinated, and I'm fighting it to the core. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it in a way of trying to be combative. I'm saying that, it's very important that we understand, why people feel this way. You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
So that was what I was saying, is that we don't want to, I never want to use the thinking is crazy. They have valid reasonings of it. I mean, even if we're not even just talking about vaccinations, there have been a lot of experimental things that have occurred, and 20, 30, 40 years later, it's like, oops, this is what we did, and you want us to, ignore that.
Yeah, look at cigarettes.
So I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so that's the part where I have to understand when people feel that way, and I'll never feel as though there are, and if we can get someone to, say, hey, I want to be this way now, it's a matter of loving on them, providing them information and allowing them to have their own decision. People don't, you know what I said? And I'm gonna be quiet after this. I said that about 5 times.
Yeah, because I got something to say after you say that.
People sit there and they're like, "Are you vaccinated?" And I'm like, I never asked you, did you get your STD testing? I never asked you, did you go to get your go to the gynecologist? When did we start reaching into those conversations?
You know why?
Where you're in people's business, and so
you know why?
Brother Nance, Jayson, do you deal with this with him?
Hey, Jayson, plead the fifth, Jayson. Plead the fifth. Do not answer that question on live TV.
That's my brother. You would think that we really were like siblings here. So wait a minute. Before I turn it over, we don't have that much longer. But I want to just say shout out to Metallic Maniac or something. He's commenting, but I don't know where it's coming from, so I can't read it off. But thank you for tuning in. He has some concerns and some views on that. Also, shout out to Carolyn. And I'll just like to do that to let people know we're watching. We see you. Carolyn Stanley, she had made a few comments. I'm only going to read 1 or 2. She just said, I believe arguing about COVID may keep folks from understanding and deciding to get it. And she also said we should help them understand why we do it with respect. And she said exactly some of my concerns is that booster my kids say that they're not taking it. Why should they when they can still get it? So it's just a matter for me. I would say educational, matters. And then she laughed. I want to say this because it's kind of funny. She did say peanuts are green sometimes.
Yeah, I was only going to say, Angie, made me lose my train of thought because you went on that
we gotta make
tangent.
Our viewers.
I wanted to give a shout out to our viewers definitely because I've been my basically comments based off what I was reading and what they were saying. But I actually lost my train of thought, what I was going to say. Good. But no, it actually was a good point. Like, go back to what you were saying real quick.
Nothing.
Go ahead.
Hey, Jayson, because he'll say it like a minute before. So we have about 5 minutes. But listen, I wanted to say, could you please just kind of do a wrap up to discuss about if you want to talk about the community hub, but definitely the clinic.
No, I want to. Let him tell the hours of the COVID vaccine.
That's what I'm saying.
Where it's going to be at and stuff like that.
So the mobile vaccine clinic is brought to you with the Health Department and University of Maryland, Elevate, New Song Community Learning Center, New Song Academy, and Sandtown Winchester Achievement Academy. It'll be 701 Gold Street, which is right up the block from us, right in the heart of Sandtown Winchester, this Wednesday, August 11th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You don't need, you can call in to schedule an appointment, or you can come up. Walk-ins are available as well. The phone number to call in is 443-984-8650. 984-8650. And you can call in and register. Yep, you got the flyer for or you want me to send it?
No, I don't have it.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you send it.
I'll text it right now to you, Juan, and then you can
you send it,
get it right to you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep, so that'll be this, and then to also, like you said, talk about, our goal is to be a resource. Resources are not about pushing one side or another. It's about being able to share with people information and whatever you have. So here's one resource is the clinic, which is the beginning of us working together with with another neighborhood school. And this is what the resource hub will be doing in our building at 1530 Pressman. We'll work on wellness, which will work with physical as well as mental, workforce development, helping people get jobs and work through the unemployment system, and then adult education. People need, GED, continuing ed. How many people in our community know how to fix things but are not certified in that area? And they can get the certification so that now they got the letters or whatever it is behind their name. So when they get a job, they can say, no, I'm a certified HVAC technician, not just I know how to fix your system. So being able to do that. And this is what it's about, sharing information. When Brother Nance does his the farmers market out front of New Song every week, it's about sharing information. People come up and they say, what's this? and he explains to them what the fruit or vegetable is and then how to prepare it. Not just like take it and go, figure it out. Like he explains it and talks about it with passion on how good it is. And if you put a little saute with this in it, how great it will be, and it's even taken me. There's a couple things I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna try that at home now. It's funny, he got me juicing old, fruits that are about to go bad that I used to just throw away. He's like, no, you gotta juice them. And I started juicing them. Oh my God, they're amazing. I put the juices in the smoothies. Oh, it's on another level. Like I was excited to talk about it, but again, I wouldn't have had that had Mar not been that resource.
Yes.
So I want to do that because at the end of the day, not everybody has access to Google. Not everybody has access to the internet. So we want to expose them in person, in front of you. Here's the information. Here's the resource. That's what New Song Community Learning Center is about.
Yeah. You know what
I just want to say. Go ahead.
No, I was going to go. No, you need to go ahead before you forget.
No, go ahead, Angie, because I already forgot. Go ahead, Angie. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's just so good to know, because not only are you helping that community or the youth or a certain population, I think it's always, for me, when I'm serving, I'm getting something out of it. So I know, Jayson, you are getting, you're getting inspired and motivated, and like you just said, Brother Nance helped you with the juicing. So it's all about helping one another. And I just wanted to just say that, that's about being that village for one another.
My man Metallic said, where did COVID come from?
We're not going to go back on COVID because we're going to be ending.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I want to acknowledge what my bro. I just want to acknowledge what the bro said. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of times we like to dance around. I mean, and so to answer his question, in my opinion, these views are not expressed by RTV Radio. These are Brother Nance or Radio on Fire. These are Brother Nance opinion. It's a man-made disease that was designed for population control. That's Brother Nance. But anyway, I just wanted to answer the brother question. But anyway, I wanted to say no, because it's important, because anytime that a black person says something about anything, it's considered a conspiracy, right? And when someone that doesn't look like you say something and then it becomes what it is, then that's the fact. And we have to change that, because if we're not educating our people and we're not empowering them to believe that your thoughts are valid or genuine, how can you even move forward? Honestly, the reason why a lot of people are dying is because of fear. And fear weakens your immune system. Fear weakens your mind. Fear weakens your aspect of how to even eat and do the things you need to do to maintain and survive. Mm-hmm. And I've lost people to COVID. I lost my frat brother to COVID, my line brother to COVID. So I overstand. I'm not saying COVID's not real, but what I'm saying is we cannot live in the mindset of fear. We cannot live in the mindset of we have to honor the thoughts that come to us, whether it's conspiracy, whether it's facts, whether it's reality, whatever it is, to move forward. So again, like I said, I'm supporting the vaccination clinic just because I know it's others that believe in it, whether I believe in it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I have to provide my community the opportunity to engage in it. But at the same time, we have to educate them from a bipartisan aspect.
Like that. I like that, Brother Nance. I think at the end of the day, it's really about respecting people, respecting their wishes, and just taking care of yourself. Whatever that means. If you're not feeling well, darn it, I don't care if you got the cold. Don't come to me with the cold, because I don't want to get the cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
thought you were about to say something else. I thought you were about to say something else. I love what you said. I thought you were about to say something else.
When Brother Lewis came to my office, he started coughing. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm like, can you take that out? You need some tea? I'm not trying to get any germs here. We got one of our COVID. He walks around spraying Lysol, but she said she's been doing that for years before there wasn't even a thought of a COVID. You know why? She said because she's a germ. She doesn't like germs. Yeah. And I was like, that's the thing. I think, I can
Yeah,
honestly say,
that's my baby.
me washing my hands and the hand sanitizer, the mask, the keeping away from a lot of people this whole time. I ain't gonna front. I didn't get sick. There was
And
no
the
flu or
mask.
nothing.
And the
Yeah,
mask.
I mean, like everything. Like
Hey,
it was just
I
like
ain't gonna
I'm
lie.
washing my face. I was washing my beard more. Like there was a lot more that I did because I was just like, you know what? I want to make sure that I'm healthy and my family's healthy. So whatever it is, when I was,
Fact.
because I was working in it, during the pandemic, I never stopped working. So, I was around it. I'd come home and, put on different clothes and put on this and wash my face and wash my arms and my hands and, everything else because I'm just like, look, I want to make sure that everybody else is good around me, because my immune system may be able to handle this, but who's to say what my wife's can, what my granddaughter, what my daughter, what my son-in-law. Like, I don't know what their immune system is because I'm not them. So I don't prepare. Or what Brother Nance is. Like when he comes to my office and he's like, I'm going to give you a brother hug, I want to make sure that he's covered too. I got to take care of him because
I don't
I
want
need
the
him.
cold. I don't want the cold.
I ain't gonna lie. I've been in the mix, and I have been a little. I ain't gonna lie. I've been in the mix, but I've definitely been a little bit reckless out in the world because you know why? And it's no disrespect to COVID or any of that. Like, I just feel like I'm protected by how I've been. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I do. Like, but I'm not gonna lie. I am moving more cautiously now because it's moving towards kids. You know what I mean? Like, so I am going to start wearing my mask. You know what I mean? Doing all the protocol things. But, I just want to say, honestly, I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. I thank you for the innovation that you bring to West Baltimore, because not only do you work with New Song, but you sit on multiple boards that work directly in West Baltimore. And one thing I know about you that you are open to bucking the system and challenging the system, but challenging in a way where it makes sense and not being a rebel without a cause. Because a lot of times we have rebels without a cause, and we need more rebels with a cause. We need more organizations that have a cause that stand on purpose. You know what I mean? And stand on seeking power in order to promote the change in which we're looking for. So I just wanted to share that, despite all things COVID and, the vaccine clinic that we're doing on the 11th, which is Wednesday, I just wanted to just thank you for just really doing your due diligence. And like I was telling my boss that, I'm watching a master at organizational behavior. You know what I mean? And that's a skill. You know what I mean? And so I just want to thank you for, answering your God mission, your God calling, and doing the organizational work that's necessary to move and empower the people to be the strength of their community. So I just want to say thank you for coming on Restoring the Village Radio. I'm going to let Angie finish us out, but I just want to give you your flowers, bro, while you're here.
I appreciate you.
Because it's very important that we do that as we do this work, because this work is very tiresome and this work is not very rewarding, and we don't do it for money. So sometimes hearing high praise and accolades are needed just to give us the extra little bit of caffeine or energy we need to push through.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Appreciate
you too, Angie.
Jayson, before we wrap up, I know you kind of told us your events, but how could anyone that wanted to connect with you, how would they be able to connect with you? On any social media, email, phone, whatever you like to give.
Hey, make sure you tell them the donation page, Jayson. We need donations.
Let people know how
That's it. NewSongCommunityLearningCenter.org. That's our webpage. You click the donate button, you can donate right to us. My email is jgreene, like the color, at newsongclc.org. And you can reach me, email, phone 202-599-0452. Text is the best way to grab me quickly. I call text message my assistant. Since that's the poor man's assistant. Say, oh, yep, got a text message. Here we go. We got to take care of that. So that's, the way to get me: email, text message, and our website. And I'm here. Like Juan, like Brother Nance said, I'm here to serve the community, and want to be able to partner with other organizations and individuals that want to make a difference. You have an idea, you want to do something, like let's talk. Let's figure out what we can do to make it happen. If you need grant information, like let me know. I have access to different grants and stuff that I send out to people. So whatever you need, I'm here.
We're gonna talk. So
let's go.
As we wrap up, thank you again. I say Brother Jayson. We're all brothers and sisters. Thank you so much, Jayson Greene, for coming on, being our special guest on the RTV radio show. This was a great show. I'm glad I came on. I was a little tired, wasn't going to do it. I said, come on, Brother Nance. He said, no, we do this together. So
I said, yo, we do this together. We are a tribe, baby. We are a tribe.
And that's what we do. We push one another. We encourage one another. Again, special shout out to our greatest producer on the land. I keep telling them. I love his heart, and he's in it for the community. So I always want to make sure that we shout out Diamond K.
I love Diamond K. Shout out to Diamond K, living legend.
What is he, the hype man or something? Like
I'm just saying, Diamond K, a living legend. We had a conversation earlier.
In this.
I was about to end it, but go ahead.
Okay, so again, I want a special shout out to Diamond K with Radio on Fire. As we talk about support, make sure that you support Radio on Fire as well. This is our independent media, and we want to make sure that we're supporting this independency. We talk about the mainstreams and what Fox 45 is doing, but here we are. We have a Radio on Fire. We have Diamond K that's putting this information out. Nothing censored. We talk about any and everything, and we thank you for that. So again, thank you again, Jayson, for coming on, talking all things COVID. You stay tuned to some of the things that we're going to continue to talk about. Jayson, if you're on social media, follow us. This is actually being live streamed.
Already done.
Facebook, and we're also on YouTube. So please spread the word. If you know some other people that could be spotlighted doing some amazing things in the community, bring them our way. We would love to spotlight them. So again, thank you all for everyone viewing and sharing and just being interactive. This was actually good. A lot of people were commenting. I couldn't keep up, but thank you again for tuning in to the RTV radio show. We're here each and every Monday at 7 p.m. and we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great one. I don't know if Brother Nance want to have his little outro. No,
I'm just gonna say, remember, we don't have good. We create them so we can spread our love, like peace and power to the world. This radio, peace and power to the people.
Yes, peace.